Good morning. Welcome to Up with KREM. I'm Tim Pham.
And I'm Channing Curtis. Well, thanks so much for joining us and starting off your Wednesday morning with us. To start things off, let's send it over to meteorologist Thomas Patrick, who's telling us all about this forecast breakdown. Because, Thomas, it was so nice and sunny. I firmly believe that 40 degrees and sunny is different than 40 degrees and cloudy.
Yes. It absolutely is, Channing.
It feels nice.
The sunshine makes such a big difference. And with the spring equinox around the corner, that sun angle is getting higher and higher in the sky. So it is making a bigger and bigger difference outside. Let's hope for more sunshine in the days to come, and we should get plenty of it. Today, maybe even a little bit better than what it was yesterday. Right now, we're at 31 degrees. Our temperatures did actually increase by a couple degrees from this past hour, as you see the clock tower, of course, lit up in green as of this morning, as it has been all week long. Still 29, though, in Coeur d'Alene, a fair share of upper 20s to right around 30, 31 degrees for the inland northwest. And a nice pocket of clearing for our region as well, so we should get plenty of sunshine right from sunrise in just about an hour's time. The only snow that we're seeing across the northwest are hovering over the Cascades this morning.
Well, this morning, the results continue to come in for a major levy election last night for school districts across Idaho. So here's a look at the latest numbers as they stand right now. The Coeur d'Alene School District's supplemental levy is failing right now with 51% of voters against, 48% in favor. That levy funded teacher salaries and extracurricular activities. Now, the second levy on the ballot would improve safety and maintenance at Coeur d'Alene schools. That levy needed 55% of the vote to pass. Right now, it has just over 54% of voter approval. 45% of voters are against. So right now, it's looking like both of these levies will fail. Now, this is not the first time that maintenance levy failed. The district actually tried to get it passed last August. The $25 million levy funded building repairs for the district's 41 buildings, a third of those being more than 30 years old. The district said if the levy did fail, their maintenance backlog would reach an estimated $100 million within 20 years. Now, as for the $25 million supplemental levy, it accounts for a quarter of the district's budget. According to our news partners at the Coeur d'Alene Press, voters have supported that supplemental levy since 1986.
It concerns me that I see so many people thinking it's not a good idea to vote yes or even vote at all.
Now, back in January, the district told us there would be some drastic cuts like staff and athletic activities if the supplemental levy did not pass. The district superintendent says they have relied on voter support to fill the gap between state funding and the community's expectations.
Now taking a look at the other levy results from last night, the $6 million levy for the Post Falls School District is currently passing with 61% in favor and 38% against. Next up, the Lakeland School District is also hoping to pass two levies. Right now, the vote for their supplemental levy is not passing with 52% against and 42% in favor. For Lakeland's school plant and facility levy, the vote is sitting at 49% in favor and 50% against. And finally, the Kootenai Joint School District is also looking to pass a supplemental levy. Right now, the levy is passing with 56% in favor and 43% against. Voter turnout for this election was just over 27%. You can find full election results on our website, KREM.com.
The time is now 6:04. Let's take a look at your morning rush. More news in less time. The former Bremerton High School football coach who was fired for praying on the field will be back on the sidelines this fall. The school district says Joe Kennedy has completed all of the human resources paperwork to become an assistant football coach again. You might remember Kennedy continued to pray with players on the field after games after the district told him to stop. He took his First Amendment fight all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court, and last year those justices ruled in his favor. More than 100 organizations have joined to form a coalition to oppose the merger of Kroger and Albertsons. In October, Albertsons announced its plan to merge with Kroger in a $24.6 billion deal. The coalition stopped the merger once the Federal Trade Commission to use its oversight to prevent the merger, believing that greed is driving that merger forward. Boeing has sold 78 787 Dreamliners to two Saudi airlines. The deal is worth an estimated $37 billion. Now, this is Boeing's most recent deal with overseas airlines. Just last month, Boeing received a massive order for more than 200 planes from Air India. That deal was the third largest in Boeing history. And law enforcement officers from Spokane County and North Idaho will face off against each other on the ice in a hockey game for charity. The game is on Saturday, March 25th at the Spokane Arena. Tickets for this game will also get you into the Spokane Chiefs versus Tri-City Americans game that happens right after. A portion of each ticket sold will go to the Behind the Badge Foundation, which supports families of officers killed in the line of duty. And that's a look at your morning rush.
This morning, one of Spokane's homeless shelters is now at risk of closing. KREM 2's Nathan Hyun is at the shelter right now. And Nathan, there's a lot of attention with this, especially with the homeless crisis the city is facing. So why could the shelter be closing now?
Well, Tim, I'm right here at the Cannon Street shelter, and the city is considering closing it to accommodate other needs within the region. Brian Coddington with the city of Spokane says they are moving towards a regional approach to homelessness. They're partnering with Spokane Valley and the county to address gaps in service. Right now, the leading idea is changing the shelter into a short-term care facility. One shelter resident says he hasn't heard anything about the shelter closing. He says it was one of the few options for him and his girlfriend.
No, if you're a couple, if you're single, I mean, the Union Gospel Mission only gives you 90 days. These guys give you for however long.
The Salvation Army took over shelter operations late last year, and on Monday, the city heard a request to amend their contract to end May 31st and give the organization money to operate until then. So if the shelter does close at the end of May, about 80 beds would go to the Trent shelter on the opposite side of town. Live in Spokane, Nathan Hyun, KREM 2 News.
Weather-wise on this Wednesday morning, mostly clear, mostly calm conditions for the inland northwest. The only issue across the northwest in general is over the Cascades. Some decently heavy snow falling over Snoqualmie Pass and Stevens Pass at the moment. And as you zoom in, you can definitely see that it's the Cascades themselves that are squeezing out the available moisture in the atmosphere, materializing as some decently heavy snow. So traction tires are required over Snoqualmie Pass as of this morning, but not expecting any snow or rainfall for today for the Spokane area. Our chances 5 to 10% this afternoon at best. Otherwise should be mostly cloudy to partly cloudy conditions with temperatures still getting into the upper 40s for today across the inland northwest, with a few areas in central Washington back in the 50s.
In our in-session series, we help you make sense of the hot topics in the state legislature.
Just days after a suspected stalker killed a Redmond couple, Redmond's police chief is now trying to strengthen the state's stalking laws. He testified before state senators yesterday on a bill that would make it easier to prosecute stalking cases. Under the current law, a victim must prove that the stalker creates a fear of injury, which prosecutors say can be hard to prove. Now, this proposed law would lower that standard, calling for proof that a stalker has created substantial emotional distress.
That fear is real, as is the emotional distress that is caused upon the victims and their families, not to mention on the investigators that are handling these crimes as well.
The bill passed unanimously out of the House of Representatives, and the bill's sponsor is optimistic that it will pass out of the Senate as well.
Another bill moving through Olympia would allow injured workers to record their state-mandated medical exams, which many workers say are rigged against them. Washington is one of only 2 states where workers are not allowed to record their own exams. The other is Michigan. People who've become disabled on the job testified before a Senate committee yesterday, saying state-ordered exams have unfairly cut them off from benefits. One man said during an exam with a state-hired chiropractor, the doctor broke his hip. But without a simple cell phone video of what really happened, the doctor was able to deny it.
I heard it pop, so I knew something was wrong. I screamed out at him, and even in his report, he said, Mr. Canfield screamed out, but he didn't know why. Had there been a camera, everybody would know why.
The bill already passed the House. Now it's in the hands of the Senate Labor and Commerce Committee.